So it looks like there's a new modular environment coming out pretty soon, launching May 25th here. It's called Mesh. And before we dive in, I know a lot of people say you need to start with the sound at the beginning of the video, but I don't care. So before we dive in, I want to tell you what it is and what it's not. So it's not a visual programming language like Plug Data or Reactor. It's also not something like VCV Rack, where you have to use a lot of paid small little Eurorack modules. It's also not something like the Grid, where you need to patch up a lot of small little fine-grained internal modules to create bigger patches. It's more like something like FL Studio's Patcher, where you create patches with your already in place VST plugins, and you add in built-in modules to modulate and to create randomizations and so on. So here you can see there are built-in modules like distortion, multiband compression, EQing, or you have like a dice number generator, an LFO, and then you can, modulate some parameters on your VST plugins or on these other built-in modules. So yeah, the main focus is really on patching VST plugins, also sharing these patches here with others. So there's a login or an account that comes with the tool. So you can upload and download other patches. That's also a main focus. Also, they try to tackle the problem with feedback. So every time you use feedback, there's a problem where you have like a lot of latency from your chain for the processing of the chain. And then you want to go back into the beginning of the patch, and then you have this latency, and then you are limited with the pitch you can achieve with that and so on. So they try to tackle this. There's also an integrated sampler that you can use, so everything you do, every experiment is saved inside of this buffer, and then you can select it and drag it out into your DAW, into your sampler, to your hard drive or whatever. Yeah, so this is the main rundown. And this is at the moment in pre-order here, and it costs $149, and the real price is $200, I think, after the launch. Okay, so if you want to use this, be quick. So in Bitwig, we can use this here as a plugin. It's called Mesh, and there are two versions here. Mesh FX is audio effect, so we have an audio input. And this is an instrument where the main focus is, of course, when you press multiple notes on the keyboard, you create multiple voices at the same time. So this is something you need to do. So this is completely empty here. We have a browser here at the top where we can download other patches from other people. We don't want to do this now. You can upload, we can reorganize what's happening on the screen, and you can center it on the main elements. At the left side here, we can name this patch. We can say tutorial polarity or something like this. So this is the name of the patch. We have here some settings to save and create a new patch, report the bug, change some settings. We can log in here with our account, all the plugins I have in there, locations. So there's a lot of stuff you can change. But we want to start here by creating a new thing in the empty environment. So you have to just double click here. You can see all the built-in modules and also your VST plugins. So you can filter on the left side for built-in instruments and VST plugins here, or effects. So we can start with built-in. You can see there are a lot of modules already here in place. There are probably more coming soon. I have no idea what the plan is there. So let's use here an oscillator. You can see it's hooking up here already the oscillator with the MIDI input and with the audio output. And we have an amplitude envelope changing the level, the loudness of the oscillator. So it's kind of, similar to what you expect from the Grid or maybe VCV Rack. So we can play this here already on the keyboard. It's also polyphonic. Okay, so this kind of works. We can zoom in here with the mouse wheel. Also in these type of things we can zoom in. I think some of the plugins have a dedicated overlay. Not this one here, also not this one. So you can double click on that. So here the oscillator already has some neat features. At the moment it's here a sine partial or sine wave. Yeah, and we can also switch this here to this kind of tool. So you can change the harmonics if you want to, if you don't like the sine wave here. So it works a bit like Serum in itself. We have all the overtones here. Go down to 16. So it's also like yeah, additive synthesizer, if you want to call it this. We also have an integrated saw, pulse, try, noise, and whatever this is. There are some warp modes, so let's go back to sine here. Warp modes, a lot of stuff, fold, right? And then you get these additional knobs here you can change, soft clip. So a lot of options with the oscillator already where you can create sounds. But we can also insert here, let's say an LFO, this one. And then you can drag it down to this device here, and then you get this parameter overlay where you can search what you want to modulate. For instance here, the waveform, right? Then you have this modulated. We can double click this, change the speed of the LFO or the shape of the LFO here. I haven't tried this out already here, but you get the idea. It's basically like segments in Bitwig. And then you modulate stuff in here. To remove this, I usually just use remove modulation, or you just click it once and then you hit delete and then it's gone. Yeah, so this is basic stuff. We can also create a second oscillator. And by the way, I try to select everything here by just clicking and dragging, but it's not working because you move the whole view around. In my opinion, it should be middle mouse button because I'm so used to how it works in the grid. But here you can select by just holding down Shift, and then you can drag here this kind of selection around it. And then you hit Control and D, and we just duplicate this here. Maybe put this here. And we connect MIDI in here to this yeah, MIDI in to MIDI in. We can just double click here and it makes a connection automatically, but we can also just click here and drag it. That's also possible. So now we get the pitch from the MIDI input, of course, on these two oscillators here. Maybe move this over here. And we have here an audio output. And this audio output we can use for the PM input, so phase modulation, or frequency modulation if you want to do that. So I go for, let's say, PM first. And you can see here the PM knob gets highlighted, or it's not grayed out anymore. So we can change the amount here. Or maybe let's try here FM. So now PM becomes unavailable and FM is enabled. And then we change the octave here on this one. Let's go back to PM. But there's something wild going on when you have two oscillators in there and you play multiple notes. It feels like the polyphony is not available anymore and you just play two notes at once. I have no idea. Maybe I need to switch something here, but this is basically one note. And then I play two notes. And it sounds like this, which is kind of cool. It sounds cool, but I don't know what's going on. It's probably pretty nice for bass sounds if you want to do that. So yeah, we can change the envelope, the amplitude envelope, which has an influence on when and how you phase modulate the first one. Then we go to warp mode here, Chebyshev, maybe warp this a bit. Okay, so yeah, you can do a lot of things already just with the built-in modules. So you don't need to use the VST plugins, but you can use the VST plugins if you want to. So I want to use here maybe a Supermassive reverb, right? Then I just move this over here, and it's doing some of the connections alone. I don't need to press anything. It just, you know, does it or puts it in between here, the connections. You can double click, you can open up the reverb here, and we maybe use, let's say, a reverb here. Let's see how this sounds. Okay. Also interesting with this plugin is that you have multiple, what's the name? Snapshots. You have like A and B here, right? So you can say, oh, this setting here, everything I dialed in, this is setting A. And then I dial in a different setting, maybe this delay time here, very short delay time. This is B. And then you can do something like, what can we do here? Use a macro. So this is just a knob. And you move this over here. And then there's this morph thing. So this basically fades between the two states, between A and B, with this knob here. Right? So this is a long delay time, and this is the short delay time here, the second snapshot. And if you want to redo this, you just dial in here, I don't know, a different setting. Can we go actually to 1? This is the long delay time. So I can say this is A. I want to use maybe this. Oh, it's okay, I see. You probably have to clear A, and then you dial in a different setting here, like this, and then you hit A. So now we have 2 different settings. So you can morph between different states of a plugin, and it's not available on Supermassive. It's available on all VST plugins, of course. We have like these linear movements. If you have a switch, right, where you switch between different types, or like a what's the name, a drop down or something like this, of course you can't interpolate between these settings. It's always stepped, it's always quantized. But if you have these knobs here, we have like a linear movement in there, you can do this pretty easily. So instead of a macro, you can of course use here an LFO if you want to, something like this, and connect it to morph. I think these type of things add up, if I'm not wrong. You can double click this, hertz, make it slow. So yeah, I have a constant movement now. Yeah, it's constantly modulating. Okay, so now that we have this, we can go to feedback. So we can just go out of the Supermassive and back into the Supermassive, and it adds here some kind of delay, because you always need a delay, because the delay kind of decides how big the what's the name, the wave cycle is, how long. So the shorter the wave cycle is, of course, the higher the pitch is. So let's try this out. So there's also here an automatic gain knob. Maybe we bring in here a wave shaper to make it a bit louder. Yeah, let's do this. And which creates already a sound without having a sound playing. Maybe we delete this and keep it static. yeah, so you get a nice little eerie drone. There's also here auto gain, automatically integrated, so you can press auto gain. I don't know what it does. It probably changes the output gain or matches the output gain to the input gain, which is not really helpful here. But yeah, there's auto gain included. Diff only, I think this is delta, if I'm not wrong. I haven't tried it. So yeah, feedback possible with this, and as we talked about this here, this is already recorded all the time, so you can just select this and then drag it out into your DAW if you want to do that. You also can create a convolver with this, save it to library. So there are already a lot of use cases included, or pretty easy accessible from the get-go, so you don't need to do that much. So yeah, this is feedback here. So let's do something different. Let's delete all of that here, and let's create, let's say, a serum. A lot of people use serum. You can use serum, but you can also use just serum FX, which is a version of serum with audio input. So let's use that. And you can connect the MIDI in to serum FX. And the only difference is here that oscillator A and B is just disabled. We can also enable just noise here and use analog, some kind of random noise. Let's see. So yeah, we can make this pretty short and do the same thing here with the delay. Is there actually, we have a convolver we can use, and we can use multiband compression, and we go maybe into convolver, then a multiband compression, and then we go back into serum FX because it's an audio effect, so it has audio input. It doesn't do that much, but you can put then here effects on the feedback coming back into the plugin again. Maybe let's do this a bit short. Yeah, okay. So far so good. Maybe we don't want to have the pure output of the serum FX. We just want to go through every effect and then we go out. Sounds maybe a bit better. And here we put hyperdimension on it. And a flanger. And maybe an EQ. So it gives you already a nice sound. Maybe we make the delay time a bit longer so the pitch goes down. Kinda nice. Probably not for you, but can we actually insert here, or is it in there? Yeah. Remove here some of the resonances. Yeah, but then the whole fun is going out of the window, right? If we remove the resonances from the resonances, I mean... So yeah, so this is a small little interesting modular environment, and you probably have a lot of fun with this if you are into feedback and sound design and creating very interesting patches with VST plugins, or you're kind of bored with your linear setup of having VST plugins just in a linear way, where you have like a chain and you put it into the chain and that's it. Or if you are not using Bitwig, if you don't use Ableton Live or just something like Cubase and you want to experiment more with VST plugins and weird patches, this is maybe something for you, right? And yeah, also maybe something for you if you're not into plug data or reactor, or I think this is way too complicated. This is much easier because you're used to your plugins and how they work. And here you can use them in new ways, I have to say. Can we change the Convolver? Everything I change changes the sound because it's feedback. Maybe I bring in here in between a Supermassive. And maybe an EQ, maybe here. Where's the EQ? Here's the EQ. Yeah, nice. So you can use the FX here from Serum just to create nice feedback loops. You can use multiband here also. Oscillator, we have filter. Yeah, Serum has a lot of nice filters included. Moment. Probably have to use. It's actually using the filter when you go with the audio in. I haven't used Serum with, as an audio effect yet. You probably have to activate something to use the filter. But anyway, yeah, I want to show you this. I'm not using this for too long. It's still in beta. There are some bugs. But it's great to use and experiment with certain VST plugins and effects. Oh, there's also reverb included here. What's that? Saturation. This is a sampler. There's also a sampler in there. Can we actually use here this stuff? Create Convolver. So we have a Convolver from that what we just sampled. Okay, that's too much. But you get the idea, okay? We can also modulate your stuff inside of Serum FX if we want to, so we can use an LFO. Drag this in, then you can see all the parameters here. We probably want to use the flanger level, flanger rate. Yeah, it's more or less this here, exactly. We can change the amount, the position, and of course here the speed setting. Oh, I can't. Oh, it's the overlay. You can't move the overlay. Okay, I see. Pretty fun, but also very expensive. But I think it's a good idea to maybe do this. So nice little eerie sound patch. Maybe I'll try and put this here into the sampler. Does this work? Yeah, nice. So now we have this here in the Bitwig Sampler. Can detect root key if there's actually a root key, and then you can play it on the keyboard. kind of works. There's probably more stuff in here I haven't showed you yet. I just want to try to give you a rough overview to see what to expect and what not to expect, and where it's actually positioned in the market. Oh, there's also an organize button here, and it reorganizes all my... Nice, okay. I don't know why it puts the LFO up there, but I guess it's okay. So yeah, focus on VST plugins and the focus on sharing and downloading patches, and focus on creating feedback loops. So that's Mesh for you, okay? So the link is in the description below if you want to try it out for yourself. I don't know if there's actually a trial version. I'm not sure, probably not. Maybe there is, I don't know. There's also Discord and all the other informations, okay? I'm pretty sure there are a lot of videos coming out from other creators trying this out and giving you ideas what to do with that. But I want to give you more or less just a raw overview. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you in the next video and let me know what you think. See ya.